Prince Andrew, gosh, what do you say? Well, he's facing more humiliation this morning after the woman who accused him of having sex with her when she was just 17 made further claims in a Panorama interview that aired last night. Well, royal commentator Jennie Bond joins me now. I mean, I know, like me, Jenny, you watched that. What did you think of her? Did you think she was credible?
I did think she was credible. Yeah. She was very composed most of the time. We saw she broke down at one point, but she gave a lurid account of what she says went on with Prince Andrew. Of course, he has categorically denied that he's even met Virginia Roberts Giuffre, is she now? But I did find her really quite convincing.
What do you think we learned that was new?
Well, I certainly didn't know that she says she was abused when she was 7 years old, that her childhood was taken away from her. So I think what we saw was quite clearly a very damaged woman. And beyond that, I think the headline was that 5 women now want that Prince Andrew should go and act as a witness and that subpoenas are being prepared. And so it seems to me that, you know, if he sets foot in the United States, he's going to get a subpoena slapped on him. So that was new.
What we also found out was more about Ghislaine Maxwell. What a piece of work. What a piece of work. And you just wonder, Andrew's friendships, clearly, you know, totally ill-advised with both of them. But you just wonder, she knows everything, doesn't she? She knows, there she is in the background of this infamous photograph, which Prince Andrew's friends have tried to say that it's been doctored, but by all accounts last night they said no, it's not. But this woman, she knows.
Yes, I think the heat really has turned up on Ghislaine Maxwell now. I'd love to know where she is. I'm very surprised that none of our newspapers have managed to track her down.
I know, it's remarkable, isn't it?
But she appears to be the madam in all of this. And last night, something else that came to light was an email that Prince Andrew wrote, apparently at 5:50 in the morning. I presume that was UK time. So he's up very early, he's worrying, and he writes to Ghislaine, his long-standing friend of 30 years, and said, when can we meet? I need to talk. I have specific questions about Virginia Roberts. The woman he claims he has never met. I mean, certainly she was already in the public eye. Allegations had been made, so he may have heard her name. But you do wonder what they were going to talk about. And
there's the photograph, this woman that he says he's never met. There it is, for you to make your mind up, I guess. You do have to wonder, Jenny, who's advising these people? Who's advising the royals generally, but specifically Prince Andrew? Yeah,
well, Amanda Thirsk was his private secretary. She's now been moved elsewhere.
No surprises there.
Yes, but not fired. Do you think she might have been sacked after that Newsnight interview? But essentially, I think they're getting the wrong... Well, clearly he's getting the wrong advice, but they're quite headstrong, some of these young royals, you know. Well, he's not so young, but he is headstrong. He is headstrong, he is arrogant, and...
Because he thought that interview was OK, Jenny.
He thought the interview with Newsnight was fine.
What world does he live in that he thought that was all right and that wasn't going to damage him? I don't see how he comes back from this, do you?
I don't think he can, no. I think, you know, he has been banished by his mum from royal life, and I think after last night, that has to be permanent. But what he needs to do is to voluntarily give a statement to the FBI or to the lawyers. He needs to go over there or bring them over this side of the Atlantic, and he needs to say everything he knows for these poor victims and alleged victims.
No, absolutely. There's been a lot of talk about where this leaves the royal family generally. How much damage do you think this has done to the firm?
Well, I think what it has done is underline what Charles has always wanted. Prince Charles wanted to slim down the monarchy. We've known that for a long time. And now he has the perfect reason to do that. And I think that's what we will see in the future. But they've got a job on their hands to sort of rehabilitate their image. I went through the Diana years when it was so traumatic and really their reputation was on the floor. And I've said in recent years, well, look at the poor old Queen, you know, 93 years old. At last, her ship is sailing in calmer waters. Well, it ain't now.
No, it's not. It really, really isn't. There's been a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about this yesterday and again today about the Queen stepping back. I know she can't do all the same amount of duties as she can just because of her age, but there was even talk of her perhaps abdicating, perhaps Prince Charles stepping up sooner rather than later. Do you think she ever would do that?
I don't think she will formally, unless, you know, she's physically disabled.
Sure.
Or mentally, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think she will just hand over more and more duties to Prince Charles, but she's going to carry on. But you have to feel for her. You know, her husband, 98 years old now, they seem to be living almost separately. Actually, he's in Sandringham most of the time. And now the chaos in her family. I mean, not just Prince Andrew, but Prince Harry as well. You've got to feel for the woman.
No, very much so. They should parachute you in, Jenny, to give them advice. What would be honestly the one thing that you would have said just to all of them if you could get them all in a room?
Well, basically, you see, it pains me to say, because I'm a journalist and I obviously want to get the best interview you possibly can, but I'd say don't talk. Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. A bit late for that now, isn't it? A bit late for that now. Jennie, thank you. Always a joy. Thank you. The woman that knows.